Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something really core for anyone in auto and home insurance sales.
Closing the sale. It's fundamental, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you've brought us two, pretty interesting sources on this.
Yeah, first up is a document. Seems like an internal guide from Geico Flower Mound outlining a 5-step closing process.
Well, it's like a structured approach.
And the second,
a YouTube video transcript. It's Vlad Cherchenko from Insurance Sales Lab. And he's really pushing this idea of the one-call close.
Interesting. So a process versus maybe a mindset.
Kind of, yeah. Or at least different takes on the timing and intention.
Right. So our mission here, for everyone listening, is to pull out the really actionable stuff from both of these.
Yeah.
How can you close more confidently, more efficiently?
Understand those different customer reactions you get.
And maybe even, speed things up a bit, if that makes sense for you.
Definitely. It's fascinating seeing these side by side. You've got the structured step-by-step guide from Geico.
Very customer-focused in its language.
Okay.
And then Vlad, focusing hard on your intention, your mindset, right for the start of that first call.
It really taps into that bigger sales discussion, doesn't it? Process versus mindset. Or maybe process and mindset.
Exactly. They're not always mutually exclusive, but these sources definitely emphasize different aspects.
Okay, so let's unpack that Geico 5-step process first. Seems like a roadmap.
It really is laid out that way. Step 1, present the rate and ask to buy.
Straightforward.
Yeah, but the key is how. They stress clarity, confidence, a positive tone.
They give an example script bit, right? Something like...
Yeah. Your 6-month premium is $12,228. We can get that started today with a down payment of $307. Do you want to use a checking account or a credit card?
Okay, very direct. Assumptive close, built right in there with the payment options.
Exactly. Assumes the sale, gives a clear next step, makes it easy for them to say yes. The insight here is really that clarity. And assuming the sale can, set a positive frame.
Reduces hesitation, maybe?
That seems to be the idea. And the pro tips they mention hammer this home. Be direct, positive, friendly. Keep it simple.
Simple meaning don't overload them.
Right. Don't throw in all the coverage details again, right at that moment. Just the price, the down payment, and how to play. Focus on the core info.
Okay, makes sense. Then step 2. And this one feels a bit counterintuitive sometimes.
Allow the customer to respond.
Yeah, just be quiet.
That's the guidance. After you ask for the sale, just pause. Let them speak first. Don't jump in.
No filling the silence?
Nope. Resist the urge. It puts the ball firmly in their court.
So we've gone from being very direct and leading to creating space. It's an interesting dynamic.
That pause is powerful, though. It gives them a moment to process, to actually think about the number you just gave them.
And if you jump in?
You might interrupt, make them feel rushed, or even start negotiating against yourself before they've even said anything.
Okay. That makes sense. So that silence leads directly into step 3, I guess.
Precisely. Step 3, identify the type of response. This is where you actively listen to what they say after that pause.
And they have categories for this.
They do. 5 of them. Stall, obstacle, agreement, question, or objection.
Can you give a quick example?
Sure. A stall is like, I need to think about it. Or let me talk to my spouse. Classic delay tactics.
Okay, obstacle.
That's more concrete. I don't have my VIN number right now, or I don't get paid till Friday. Something specific blocking the immediate transaction.
Got it. Agreement is easy. Okay, let's do it.
Yep. Question is also straightforward. Does that include rental reimbursement? Or when would it start?
An objection.
That's the pushback. Wow, that's more than I expected. Or, I've been with my current company forever.
Right. So identifying which bucket their response falls into is key.
Absolutely key. Because step 4 is effectively handle the response. And how you handle it depends entirely on which category you just identified in step 3.
Okay, so step 4 is adaptive.
Exactly. For instance, if it's a stall, like, I need to think about it. The Geico approach suggests acknowledging it, like I understand, but then immediately trying to refocus.
Refocus how?
By asking something like, just so I understand, what specific part did you want to think more about?
So you're probing gently. Trying to uncover the real issue behind the stall.
Precisely. You're not just accepting the stall. You're trying to understand the hesitation. Is it price, coverage, something else?
Okay. And then, regardless of how step 4 plays out, we get to step 5.
Step 5, ask for the sale again.
Back to the ask.
Yep. But maybe a slightly softer version. An assumptive close. They give an example. With that in mind, referencing whatever you just discussed, the next step is just to grab your driver's license. What's the number?
So you're smoothly moving forward again, assuming the concerns are handled.
You are. You're keeping the momentum going, making the purchase seem like the natural next thing.
And they mentioned this can be a loop.
Yeah, the bonus tip is essentially repeat as needed. You might go through steps 3, 4, and 5 a couple of times if they raise another concern or stall again.
It's a cycle of listen, handle, ask again.
Exactly, until you reach a firm yes, no, or a concrete next step like a scheduled follow-up.
So summing up the Geico approach, it's structured, customer aware, but definitely aims to guide the sale confidently.
I think that's fair. Their final thoughts really emphasize clarity, confidence, trust, simplicity, asking clearly, handling concerns with empathy, and then closing with confidence again.
It's about guiding, not pressuring.
That seems to be the philosophy, yes, guiding them through their decision.
Okay, now let's pivot. Let's talk about Vlad Churchenko and this one-call close idea. It sounds ambitious.
It is, and he knows it. His starting point is that frustration many agents feel. You give a great quote, have a good conversation, and still hear, okay, great, let me think about it and I'll call you back.
Which often means they won't, right?
Often, yes. Or at least it requires a lot more follow-up effort. So Vlad really questions the agent's intention going into that first call.
What do you mean intention?
He says he's talked to lots of agents who, if they're honest, admit their main goal on that first call isn't actually to close the deal.
What is it then?
Things like just trying not to get hung up on, or simply providing the quote accurately, or maybe just helping in a general sense without a firm closing goal.
And Vlad's point is?
His point is crucial. If your primary intention isn't to ethically close the sale on that call, then you probably won't. Your actions, your questions, your focus, they all follow your intention.
So the insight is, mindset dictates outcome. If you aim just to quote, you'll likely just quote.
That's exactly it. He argues you need to go into every call with the genuine belief and intention ethically, always, that you're going to help this person switch their insurance today on this call.
How does that change things practically?
He suggests it changes everything. The questions you ask become sharper, more focused on uncovering needs and pain points that switching can solve now. You listen more intently for buying signals or objections you can handle immediately.
He even has a little trick for this, doesn't he? The sticky note.
Yeah, a simple reminder on your monitor or desk that says something like, I'm a closer, or help them switch today, just to keep that intention front and center.
It sounds simple, but I can see how that constant reminder could shift your focus.
It's about reframing. Are you just a quoter, someone who gives out prices? Or are you someone who actively helps people get better coverage or save money by facilitating that switch?
That's a powerful distinction. Quoter versus helper, or maybe facilitator?
Right. Closing becomes the natural outcome of genuinely helping someone make a beneficial change.
Now, he does mention having a specific tool for this, a script.
Yes, he talks about a 6-step script to the one-call close that he's developed and uses personally. He attributes his high closing rates directly to having and following this process.
We don't have the script details here, unfortunately.
Yeah. The transcript just mentions its existence.
Yeah.
And that he highly recommends finding a demo of it, usually linked below his videos.
But the key point is, even with this intense focus on mindset and the one-call close, he still relies on a defined process.
Absolutely. He's not saying just wanting it is enough. He's saying you need the intention and a proven sales process or script to execute effectively. You can't just wing it and expect consistent first call closes.
That's actually a really interesting link back to the Geico method, isn't it?
It is. Despite the different time frames Geico allowing for potentially more interaction cycles, Vlad aiming for immediacy both fundamentally agree on the need for a structured approach. A process guides the conversation.
So, okay, let's try and synthesize this for the listener. We've got two compelling approaches.
Yeah, on one hand, Geico's detailed step-by-step, perhaps more traditionally paced closing process. Very clear structure.
And on the other, Vlad's emphasis on a powerful upfront intention, aiming for that first call resolution, supported by its own specific process or script.
But what do they have in common? What are the big takeaways?
Well, both stress understanding the customer's response, right? Geico explicitly categorizes them. Vlad implies you need to listen intently to handle objections immediately.
Definitely. Tailoring your approach based on what you hear is critical in both models.
And the underlying idea of intention seems huge, even if framed differently. Geico talks about confidence and clarity in asking. Vlad talks about the intention to close.
Yeah, it's about having a clear objective. Knowing what you're trying to achieve in that interaction shapes how you behave. Are you just gathering info, or are you guiding towards a decision?
And maybe the biggest overlap is that neither approach is about high-pressure tactics, really.
No, not at all. It's framed as confidence, guidance, helping, facilitating. Closing is presented as the logical conclusion of a helpful conversation where value has been established.
It's about leading the customer confidently to a potentially beneficial outcome for them.
Well put. It reframes closing from something you do to the customer to something you do with the customer.
So, as a final thought for everyone listening, maybe consider where you naturally lean. Does the structured, potentially multi-step Geico process resonate more? Or does Vlad's challenge to adopt a strong first call closing intention feel more aligned with your goals?
Or perhaps, is there a blend? Could you adopt Vlad's intentionality while still using a structured process like Geico's, maybe adapting it for speed?
Right. How could consciously tweaking your intention or implementing a more defined process, whether aiming for one call or prepared for more, how could that change your conversations and ultimately your results?
It's definitely something worth exploring. And if that one call close idea really sparks something, maybe seeking out that 6-step script Vlad mentions could be a next step.
Lots to think about there. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.